I never thought my life in the heart of Seattle would turn into one of those stories you hear about over coffee with friends, full of heartbreak, redemption, and a love that sneaks up on you like a summer rain. My name's Jaxon Thorne, and for years I believed I had it all figured out. Sarah and I had been together since college, 5 solid years that felt like the foundation of something unbreakable. We shared a cozy apartment in Capitol Hill, with its quirky coffee shops and views of the Puget Sound. Our routine was simple. I'd head to my job as a marketing analyst at Summit Tech. She'd teach art classes at the community center, and evenings were for takeout from our favorite Thai spot or binge-watching shows on the couch, her head on my shoulder. My boss, Ryan Caldwell, was the kind of guy who commanded the room, sharp suits, quick wit, and promises that kept me grinding late nights. He'd been dangling a promotion in front of me for months. "After the next quarter closes, Jaxon, you're my guy." I bought into it, pouring my soul into campaigns that boosted the company's profile. Sarah always encouraged me, her blue eyes lighting up when I'd share my ideas over dinner. But looking back, the signs were there, hidden in plain sight like fog rolling in off the bay. At the company picnic last summer in Gasworks Park, Ryan lingered too long by Sarah's side, laughing at her jokes, his hand grazing her arm as he passed her a drink. When I mentioned it later, she waved it off with a soft laugh and a kiss on my cheek. "He's just friendly, babe. Don't be paranoid." I trusted her. Hell, I trusted us. It all unraveled on a crisp fall Saturday. I was fiddling with our shared iPad when a text from her best friend, Jenna, popped up. She says he'll keep stringing Jaxon along till the big project drops. Then it's off to Napa for the weekend getaway. My stomach dropped like a stone. I scrolled through the thread, heart pounding. Messages between Sarah and Jenna, spilling everything, her affair with Ryan, how they'd sneak lunches at that hidden bistro downtown, mocking my predictable ways, my flannel shirts, my unwavering loyalty. Ryan called me his workhorse, while he stole moments with the woman I loved. Sarah replied, "He's so steady. We'll use that bonus for wine country. Ryan's got the hotel booked." I didn't explode. Instead, a quiet fire ignited inside me. I screenshot everything, timestamps, cruel jokes, all of it, and backed it up on a secure drive. That night, I emailed a recruiter I'd met at a networking event in Bellevue. "Hey, Karen, ready for a change." By morning, my resume was polished, applications flying out, and a new chapter whispering possibilities. Sarah slid a brochure for Napa Valley across the kitchen table that evening, her smile radiant with what I once saw as our future. I returned the smile, keeping my cards close. She had no idea the ground was shifting under her feet. Opportunities came fast. A senior strategist position at Cascade Ventures, fully remote with a fat salary bump. I accepted without hesitation. Then I handed in my notice to Ryan. He tried to counter. "VP spot right now, Jaxon. Double the pay." I shook my head, watching his polished facade crack just a bit, confusion flickering in his eyes before he slapped on that grin. At home, Sarah's reaction was fire and ice. "You quit without telling me? What about our plans? Our life together?" My calm response unnerved her more than any argument could. The truth was, I'd already started dismantling the lies. I spent nights compiling a dossier, chats, timelines, even evidence of Ryan funneling company ideas to his personal ventures. It wasn't just personal betrayal, it was corporate sabotage. On my last day at Summit, during the exit interview with HR Director Lisa Monroe, she asked if there was anything else. I emailed the file. She read it in silence, then nodded. "Thank you for this. We'll investigate immediately. Ryan's access is suspended." That evening, I told Sarah everything. "I know about you and Ryan." Her face drained of color. She denied, raged, begged, but it fell on deaf ears. "You have a week to move out. The lease is in my name." The calls and texts poured in after. Anger, apologies, desperation. I responded once. "Talk to my lawyer from now on." A couple weeks later, my old buddy Mike from the office called. "It's done. Ryan's fired for ethics violations. No severance." It was enough closure. Picking up my last box from the apartment, I found Sarah packing, looking smaller, defeated. Ryan had ghosted her, leaving her to face the mess alone. She wasn't the vibrant artist I'd fallen for. She was just lost. Life at Cascade was a breath of fresh air. No games, just good work. And that's where I met Lily. She was a graphic designer on my team, with a laugh that could light up the darkest Seattle day, and eyes like the evergreen forests surrounding the city. Our first collaboration turned into late-night video calls, sharing stories over virtual coffee. One evening, she confessed, "Jaxon, you've got this quiet strength. It's kind of magnetic." My heart, scarred but healing, stirred. We started with walks along Alki Beach, her hand slipping into mine as waves lapped the shore. Conversations flowed like the Sound's tides, dreams of road trips down the Pacific Coast Highway, building a home with art on the walls and my marketing books on the shelves. Lily saw me, truly, the guy who'd been broken but chose to rebuild. In her embrace, I found warmth that chased away the chill of betrayal, a romance built on honesty and shared sunsets. Our kisses under the Space Needle felt like promises, tender and real, leading to a future where love wasn't a game, but a heartfelt journey we walked together. As the weeks blurred into months at Cascade Ventures, I threw myself into the work, letting the rhythm of strategy sessions and client pitches drown out the echoes of what Sarah and Ryan had done. Seattle's relentless drizzle seemed to match my mood at first, gray skies mirroring the fog in my head, but Lily had a way of piercing through it. She'd pop into my video calls with a mug of steaming chai, her auburn hair tied back in a messy bun, and say something offbeat like, "Jaxon, if this campaign flops, we'll blame it on Mercury retrograde. Deal?" I'd laugh, the sound surprising me, and just like that, the knot in my chest loosened a fraction. Our first real date wasn't some grand gesture. It was low-key, the way good things start. After a team wrap on a Thursday, she suggested we grab fish and chips at Ivar's on the waterfront. The air was crisp, laced with salt from the Sound, and gulls wheeled overhead like nosy neighbors. We sat on a weathered bench, paper baskets steaming between us, watching ferries slice through the water toward Bainbridge Island. "You know," she said, dipping a fry in tartar sauce, "I grew up in Tacoma, dreaming of escaping to the big city lights. But Seattle's got this soul, kinda gritty, kinda magical. What about you? Where'd Jaxon Thorne come from?" I told her about Boise roots, summers tubing the Boise River with my brothers, how I'd hustled through UW for my degree on scholarships and sheer stubbornness. She listened, chin propped on her hand, those green eyes steady, no judgment. When I skimmed over the breakup, keeping it light, no gory details, she reached across, squeezed my knee. "Sounds like you dodged a bullet, cowboy. And hey, more fish for us." Her touch lingered, warm through my jeans, and for the first time in forever, I didn't pull away. From there, it snowballed in the best way. Weekends became ours. We'd hike Discovery Park, boots crunching through ferns, her pointing out hidden totem poles carved by old Coast Salish hands. She'd sketch in her notebook, quick lines capturing the way light dappled the evergreens, while I rambled about ad trends or the latest Mariners slump. One afternoon, as we crested a trail overlooking the Olympics, she stopped, breathless, and tugged me close. "Look at that view," she whispered, but her gaze was on me. Our kiss was tentative at first, tasting of trail mix and possibility, then deeper, her fingers threading through my hair. The world narrowed to the press of her body against mine, the distant crash of waves and a spark that felt dangerously like hope. Back in the city, our lives intertwined like vines on a trellis. She lived in a tiny studio in Fremont, walls plastered with her prints, bold abstracts in electric blues and fiery oranges that made the space feel alive. I'd cook, nothing fancy, just spaghetti carbonara from my mom's recipe, while she blasted indie playlists, dancing barefoot across the scuffed hardwood. "You're a keeper, Thorne," she'd tease, stealing a kiss mid-stir, her lips tasting of the Chianti we'd cracked open. Nights blurred into mornings tangled in sheets, her head on my chest, listening to the rain patter against the window like applause. But it wasn't all seamless. Scars don't fade overnight. One evening, after a long day chasing a deadline, I came home to her place and found her scrolling through old photos on her phone, vacation shots from a road trip with an ex, her face soft with what-ifs. Jealousy flickered, unbidden, memories of Sarah's texts flashing like warning lights. I snapped Thorne than I meant, "You still hung up on that guy?" She set the phone down, hurt flashing in her eyes, and the room went still. "Jaxon, it's not like that. I'm here, with you, but you gotta let me in, all the way. What's eating you?" I sank onto the couch, the weight of it spilling out. The betrayal, the dossier, the way trust felt like a house of cards now. She didn't flinch. Instead, she curled against me, her voice steady as the fairy horns outside. "That sucks, babe. Royally. But I'm not her. We're building something real. No strings, no games. You trust me?" I nodded, throat tight, and she kissed my temple, soft as a promise. "Good. Now pass the wine. We've got a rom-com queued up to fix this mood." That vulnerability cracked me open, let the light in. We started small rituals to shore us up. Sunday farmers markets at Pike Place, haggling over heirloom tomatoes and stealing salmon samples. Drives out to Snoqualmie Falls, where the mist soaked us through and we'd laugh like kids, her challenging me to skip rocks across the churning pool. She met my folks during a quick Idaho jaunt. Mom adored her instantly, pressing Tupperware of potato soup into her hands, and I tagged along to her family's Labor Day barbecue in Puyallup, dodging her dad's bad dad jokes and bonding with her over plates of grilled corn and pulled pork. Fall deepened, leaves turning the streets to fire, and with it came a shift at work. Cascade landed a big contract with a sustainable tech startup, and Lily and I were paired to lead the creative push. Late nights in her studio turned electric, me mapping out user journeys on a whiteboard, her layering digital mock-ups with flourishes that made my strategies sing. "See, we're unstoppable," she'd say, high-fiving me across the desk, her energy infectious. One midnight, as code compiled and coffee went cold, she leaned back, stretching like a cat. "Jaxon, what if we did this forever? You, me, conquering the world, one pixel at a time." Her words hung there, laced with forever, and I pulled her into my lap, kissing her until the screen's glow blurred. "Yeah," I murmured against her neck. "Forever sounds pretty damn good." But shadows from the past lingered, testing us. A random Tuesday, my phone buzzed with a blocked number. Sarah, I knew it without checking. I deleted the voicemail unread, but the old ache throbbed. Lily noticed at dinner that night, over bowls of pho at a hole in the wall in the International District. "Want to talk about it?" she asked, chopsticks paused midair. I hesitated, then laid it bare. The final email from Sarah, a rambling plea for coffee. Just to clear the air. Lily's jaw tightened, but her voice stayed even. "You don't owe her a damn thing, but if it helps you close the door, go. I'll be here." Her faith in me, fierce and quiet, undid me. I didn't go. Instead, we walked home hand in hand through Chinatown's neon haze, stopping for mochi at a street cart, her laughter chasing the ghosts away. As Thanksgiving neared, the city buzzed with holiday prep, strings of lights twinkling early along the Ave, the scent of cinnamon from every bakery. Lily and I hosted a small Friendsgiving at her place, cramming mismatched chairs around a table groaning under turkey, cranberry relish she'd jarred herself, and my lumpy mashed potatoes. Mike from the old office showed, toasting to new beginnings, and her artist buddy Claire sketched caricatures that had us in stitches. Later, as dishes piled in the sink and folks drifted out, Lily and I swayed to a slow Norah Jones track in the kitchen, her cheek against my shirt. "This," she whispered. "This is what I want. Us, messy and full." I held her tighter, the warmth of her body a anchor in the storm I'd weathered. Winter crept in, frosting the sound with early snow, and with it, a question bubbled up, one I'd been too scared to voice before. On a clear night, we bundled up for the Wintergrass Festival downtown, bluegrass fiddles spilling from stages, the air alive with mulled wine and stomping boots. Midway through a set, As banjos twanged under the market's arches, I pulled her aside into a quiet alcove strung with fairy lights. Heart hammering like a bass drum, I dropped to one knee, not with a ring, not yet, but with words raw as an open wound. Lily, you've shown me love isn't about perfection. It's about showing up, scars and all. Be my partner in this crazy life? Forever starts now. Tears glistened in her eyes, that radiant smile breaking free. Hell yes, Jaxon. Let's make it epic. As the new year dawned, Seattle shook off its winter coat, cherry blossoms exploding along the university paths like pink fireworks. Lily and I moved in together that spring, blending our worlds into a sunlit loft in Belltown, my minimalist furniture mixing with her chaotic explosion of canvases and easels. Mornings started with her brewing coffee in the French press, humming off-key to Fleetwood Mac, while I scanned emails from the breakfast bar. "Cream, 2 sugars, right?" she'd ask, sliding a mug my way with a wink that still made my pulse skip. I'd pull her close, inhaling the scent of her lavender shampoo, and murmur, "You're my favorite wake-up call." Work at Cascade kept us buzzing. The sustainable tech campaign we'd spearheaded won an industry award, landing us on a panel at a conference in Portland. We drove down the coast in my old Subaru, windows cracked to let in the salty Oregon air, stopping at roadside diners for clam chowder and blackberry pie. At the event, as I presented our slides, Lily beamed from the front row, her applause the loudest. Later, over craft beers at a brew pub, she raised her glass. "To us, Jaxon, partners in crime and everything else." Her foot nudged mine under the table, a secret spark in the crowded room. But life threw curveballs, testing our bond. My brother Jake called one rainy afternoon. Dad had a health scare back in Boise, a mild stroke that left him shaky. I flew out solo at first, pacing hospital corridors that smelled of antiseptic and worry, holding Mom's hand as we waited for updates. Lily joined 2 days later, driving straight from the airport with a duffel of clean clothes and her sketch pad. She sat with Dad, drawing caricatures of the nurses to make him chuckle, her easy warmth easing the tension. "She's a keeper, son," Dad rasped, gripping my arm. On the flight home, her head on my shoulder, she whispered, "Family's everything. We'll get through this together." That solidarity sealed something in me. Love wasn't just the highs. It was showing up for the hard stuff. Summer brought adventure. We road tripped to Yellowstone, camping under stars that felt close enough to touch. By a crackling fire in the Tetons, roasting s'mores, she shared her dreams, opening a gallery someday, maybe in Ballard, showcasing local artists. "And you'd handle the marketing, right? Make it go viral." I nodded, mesmerized by the firelight dancing in her eyes. "Count me in. But first..." I pulled out a small box, the ring simple, a emerald-cut diamond set in white gold, echoing her eyes. "Lily, marry me? Let's make those dreams ours." She gasped, tears mingling with laughter, and tackled me in a hug that toppled our chairs. "Yes, 1,000 times, yes." Planning the wedding was a whirlwind of joy and chaos. We opted for intimate, Alki Beach at sunset, with close family and friends. Mom flew in with Dad, steadier now, beaming as he walked me down a makeshift aisle of driftwood and lanterns. Lily appeared in a flowing white dress, wildflowers woven in her hair, looking like a vision from one of her paintings. Vows were handwritten. I promised to always listen, to chase sunsets with her, to build a life where trust was the cornerstone. She vowed to keep me laughing, to paint our story in colors bold and true, to love me through every storm. As the officiant pronounced us, seals barked from the water like a rowdy chorus, and our kiss tasted of salt air and forever. Honeymoon in Hawaii, Maui's black sand beaches and luau's under swaying palms. We hiked Haleakala at dawn, watching the sun paint the crater in gold, her hand warm in mine. Lazy afternoons snorkeling, chasing sea turtles, or just lounging in hammocks with piña coladas. One night, stargazing from our lanai, she traced constellations on my arm. "Jaxon, remember when we met?" I thought you were just another suit, but you're my heart's true north. I pulled her closer, the ocean's rhythm syncing with our breaths. And you're my everything. No more looking back, only forward, with you. Back home, life settled into a beautiful groove. We bought a fixer-upper in Queen Anne, weekends spent sanding floors and debating paint swatches, eggshell or alabaster. Cascade promoted us both. I led a new division, she headed creative. Evenings were for porch swings, grilling burgers with neighbors, or curling up with books, me with marketing tomes, her with art histories. When Dad fully recovered, we hosted family barbecues, laughter echoing through the yard as kids chased fireflies. Years slipped by, but the romance never faded. On our 5th anniversary, we renewed vows in Napa, ironic, I know, but reclaimed. Wine tastings turned into whispered toasts, to resilience, to love reborn. Lily's gallery opened to fanfare, my campaigns drawing crowds. We talked kids someday, a little one with her eyes and my stubborn streak. Looking back from our cozy life, the betrayal with Sarah and Ryan feels like a distant storm. Painful, but the catalyst for this sunshine. It taught me that true love isn't blind, it's clear-eyed, choosing each day. With Lily, every moment's a heartbeat of gratitude, a story written in stolen glances and shared dreams. In her arms, I've found home, not a place, but a person. And damn if that isn't the sweetest victory.